Right, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to show you how I made this little beautiful gem over here. I cut a pallet block in half and I made sure it was square. Then I took some walnut offcuts and cut it into two thin strips that I was going to join together. Here I'm basically squaring the two thin strips that will go into the handle. These strips are about 1 centimeter thick. I then decided to glue the two walnut strips onto another piece of pine, which will then later be wedged by another piece of pine so that it forms a walnut core or center in the handle. While I was waiting for this to dry, I started on my pallet block that I cut in half. I simply used the flat drill bit and drilled a hole through both sides in the center, and I made sure that it was center as a guide. Then once my walnut was dry and wedged between two thin strips of pine, I started to cut down my handle to size. Slowly I was just taking off piece by piece until I was happy with the diameter of the handle. I also added an angled edge to the handle by setting my blade to an angle. Then I basically drew a template over the hole that I had already drilled through the pallet block, and then I used my jigsaw to try and cut out the pattern. I would have used the jigsaw from both sides. Not very safe, but what to do. Then I used this thing, I can't remember what it's called, like a carve stick or whatever, and I started carving out the inside of the pallet block until I was happy and that the handle fit nice and snug. I then cut my angle tip down, made it nice and square, and just neatened things up a bit on my mitre jig. And once that was done, I moved to my fence attachment so that I could add two splices into the center of the handle. I would then just basically wedge two offcuts into the splices with some wood glue in order for the handle to become snug and, you know, get wedged into the pallet block so that it doesn't slip out. Basically, it would act as an anchor. Again, I'm also not condoning any practices that I've done in this video. I am an absolute noob at woodwork, and I don't adhere to the proper safety procedures. Then I decided to take a walnut offcut and glue it to the top of the mallet to hide the disaster of a symmetrical hole I made for the handle to go through. And then I started sanding down the block along with the hole hammer to about 180 grit. I then went to the angle grinder and I made little divots into the handle so that my hand and fingers could fit snug into the handle, which would basically just add extra grip. And then I used my hand sander to smoothen out those little divots. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my little wooden mallet made from pine and walnut offcuts. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed my video, and see you next time.